Hi, today we are going to talk about what I call prefab scenes in Godot. I will try to make references to Unity to let newcomers or just people that want to try Godot see how these two engines present a very different solution to the same problem. In Godot, we don't have the concept of prefabs. We just use scenes for everything, as opposed to Unity, where we have scenes and prefabs. One of the strongest points of prefabs is the possibility of creating a lot of entities based on a scene prefab. Then any change made later to the scene prefab will propagate to all these cloned entities. We will see a simple example of this in just a moment. To demonstrate the scene prefab concept, we have created a simple scene called world that has just a parent node called world2 and have import some assets like these sprites, and a starship and a ballet. And the objective is to create the prefabs for these entities, the starship and the ballet. Let's create now the scene prefab for the starship. We first must create an scene, add a sprite as the parent node, we can assign the sprite image to the sprite. It's a bit big, so we make it smaller, something like that. We will add another node, a node 2D will do, that will represent the point where the ballets will start to born. So we will call it shoot point, and we'll position it here. One important thing when creating a scene prefab for an entity, for example for the ship, is to have the entity centered at 0, 0. So we will do it now. Here we are. We could add, for example, a bit more nodes to be able to detect collision, like an area 2D, and the collision shape of the area 2D. Sorry, I added the 3D version. Yeah, collision shape 2D. That in this case will be a rectangular shape 2D. Okay, as we can see, we have a script that we imported before for the starship, that is the player controller script. So we added to the sprite node too. This script exports some variables like the shoot point that we're going to assign now for later use in the script, the speed that we will make it to 800, and the bullet prefab this ship will fire. We have not yet defined the prefab of the bullet, so we can assign it now. So at this point the starship is done. The only thing we have to do is save it. Save it as a starship or a spaceship. And let's do the same for the ballet prefab. We create a new scene, we create a parent node, this parent node must be a sprite, rename it to ballet, we make sure that it is located at 0, 0, yes it is, we assign the image that represents the ballet from the sprites folder, and we can add, as we do with the starship, an area 2D and a shape of this area 2D to be able to detect collisions. Again, a rectangular shape will do. We can adjust the shape of the collision. I think that will do. And we save the ballet as scene prefab. I forgot to resize the collider of the ship, so I will do it now, more or less. It's just an example. Perhaps this size is okay. And now that I just created the ballet prefab, I will assign it to the exported variable in the starship. This can be done easily, dragging the ballet prefab over the field. I'm going to show you how this is done, and it's done through an export of type packet scene. So this will allow us to drag a packet scene or a prefab scene to a field in the editor. So now that we have created both scene prefabs, we are ready to go to the world scene and start creating it. Now that we have done all the hard work of creating all the prefabs, let's create a spaceship clone based on our spaceship scene prefab and see what happens. To create this clone, the only thing we have to do is click in instance child scene and instantiate our spaceship prefab. Here it is. This new instance of our prefab contains exactly the same node hierarchy we defined in our spaceship scene prefab, so it will react as we configured in our prefab. It has the same colliders, the same scripts, the same image, etc. Let's hit play and see what happens. As we can see, we can move because of the script we assigned, and it can fire the ballet prefab we created previously. To prove that we are creating instances from the same prefab and that all behave the same and have the same appearance, let's create some more instances and see what happens. Let's do same thing we did before, instance child scene, open, one more, open, and here we are with the new instances. If we hit play, We can see how all the spaceships move the same and all fire the same bullet prefab at the same speed, etc. On the other hand, to prove that all these instances are linked to the prefab scene, let's change, for example, the bullet speed in the prefab scene and see if it affects all the spaceships. To do this, we just open the spaceship prefab scene and change the speed. Let's change it to 100, for example. We save the scene, and when we check the speed, we see how it just changed. And if we hit play, we can see how all the ships fire the bullets really slow. So this is how we use prefab scenes in Godot. As we can see, it is a nice way to do changes in just one place and propagate them to all the instances created from that prefab. As a side note, remember always to make your changes in the prefab and not the instances. This way you will maximize productivity, because you will only need to do the changes in one place. Well, that's all for today. Bye bye and have a nice day.